Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the bronze medal final on the men's side of the Perth Sevens. This one, it is New Zealand versus Australia. Now, this will actually be the final of the women's sevens happening in around 30 minutes time. But for now, we've got a decider for the bronze. New Zealand, they did get bronze last week in their game up against South Africa in Singapore. Now looking to make it 2 weeks in a row now. They will suffer a few losses of points compared to Fiji and South Africa due to those two sides being through to the final, but can still take out 16 possible points from this competition. Looking through at the starting lineup, it is Fletcher Morgan, Kitio Navai, Tony Nashu, Kelly Lasanga, Sophie Natoa Tipo, Regan Weir, and Riley Williams, the last man. In New Zealand starting team for Australia, it is Henry Hutchinson, Aiden Akanayake, Jaden Blake, Wallace Charlie, Ethan McFarlane, Josh Turner, and James McGregor. Now, for the New Zealanders, they did suffer that loss up against Fiji in the semi-finals. That game was 35-0. It's one of the biggest defeats New Zealand have had in quite some time. And for the Australians, they were taken down by South Africa. Look very handy throughout this competition. We can't lose to Afghanistan. I'm so nervous, says Highlanders fan. Yeah, those two early wickets of Finn Allen and Rachin Ravindra definitely didn't help. For the Kiwi confidence, we have got the Australia to win, says Kyle there. And I will mention these two sides have played off already in this competition. It was in the opening round of the Perth Sevens, and that one was won by the Australians, going on to win that game by 7 points. But in the end, Australia also doing New Zealand a little bit of a favour, beating Great Britain in the final round of the group stage. That stopped GB from going through and meant that the Kiwis had that semi-final spot. What happened versus Fiji, Mr. Streamer, says Highlanders fans. So we did see there was an early red card for Akulia Rokali Sol, which definitely did not help New Zealand, as defensively they weren't quite the same after that card was awarded. But Fiji once again just looked like the more dangerous team, and it just shows how crucial it is to keep all your players out there on the field. New Zealand would have learned a valuable lesson from that game, and they'll be trying to make sure they stay 7-on-7 for the whole of this match. All the hard work and all the games come down to this, the final match of the competition. Says, what's up guys? Although this one will be the second last competition, I guess final match for these two sides, with the bronze medal on the line here, with the final between Fiji and South Africa. That one is kicking off in only about an hour and 6 minutes time, so we are getting very close to that one too. Of course, be sure to stick around. We got there 13-6 at halftime as the score prediction there from Kyle, but we're just about to get underway for this bronze final. And it is kicked off by New Zealand. Slap back onto the side of the Australians. Wallace Charlie with McGregor going across to Ethan McFarlane. A few different faces out there on the field for the Australians in this contest compared to what we are used to seeing. No Ben Dowling or Ben Dalton out there in the starting lineup for the early stages of this game. New Zealand managing to get the turnover against the Australians though. Regan Weir popping it up to Kitio Navai, who loops around and does a bit of a set play with Tony Nashu. Now cutting through the middle. Can't quite find his way through. Now back across, it was Natoa Tipo. Nashu. And on the outside, Regan Weir to Frank Vainuku. Tackled by Henry Hutchinson, who gets tackle made 30 metres out. At least if we lose this one, we still have the Ferns. That is true. Perth Sevens final, once again going to be Australia versus New Zealand for the women's sevens. Just like it was last year. That game was 2 points separating them, so hopefully the game that we get just around the corner is just as close. But Nashu does snag through the gap. Wallace Charlie tries to make the tackle, but it's offloaded up to Regan Weir. And New Zealand will score the first try of this bronze final. Striking early, which is already, it's pretty brutal to say, but it's already more points than they had in their last contest up against Fiji for New Zealand. And we've only been going for that 90 seconds or so in this match. Hang on, I thought Fiji thrashed New Zealand. Yes, they did, which is why Fiji are playing in the final up against South Africa around the corner. This one's just the bronze final rather than the main final. And who talks about losing? Says Nas there and howdy. I didn't see the semi-final. Guessing Oz is more likely here. Says Studs Rays. I wouldn't guarantee it. New Zealand, see, it's a very tricky one to judge because they did play with 6 men for a majority of the game up against Fiji. At the time of the yellow card, of the red card, I think New Zealand may have only been down by 7. Or it may have even been 0-0 at that stage. So it definitely changed momentum in the game. But now the Kiwis will be fired up. They want to get that bronze final under their belt just to get those couple extra points. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Now Regan Weir trying to cut inwards. Gives it off to Kelly Lasanga with the fend on Wallace. Charlie, another offload. Kitty on a Vi, dragged down 5 metres short of the line from Henry Hutchinson, and the penalty awarded to Australia. Have faith in our Black Caps. And that's coming from Kiwi Rob as well, so you know he's serious. Oh, that's a big comment on this channel. Says, what's up, guys? And also, we've got there, who says New Zealand are going to lose? Says, what's up, guys? And also, it's so fast driving school already well. Says Kyle, yeah, these games of sevens go absolutely flying by. Just that counter ruck there. Regan Ware just showing off that step. Trying to get that space down the wing, but it was great work from Hutchinson to tackle around the bootlaces. And then from there, Wallace Charlie did get the turnover. Akapo Opungo. So here's Jasmine there. Now ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken. It's going to be claimed by McGregor. A loose ball there, but cleaned up by Australia. Across to the right-hand side. Still attacking from just inside of their own 40-metre line here. Turner goes to Wallace Charlie. Gets through one collision. Looks like Regan Weir's actually hurt his shoulder by the looks of that. Will we make any Super Rugby pre-vids? Possibly not. Only because I'm terrible at making up my mind in terms of who I think's going to win. So then all it would be is me pretty much just changing in the order than what I probably think for the start of the season anyway. But no, I think it's going to be either, well, to be fair, there's about 4 New Zealand sides that have a decent chance, but I can't decide between them. So there wouldn't be much of a video. It would just be me being too indecisive. Going off to the left-hand side now, trying to sneak their way through. Now McGregor, that's going to be the penalty awarded now for the Australians. Going off to Aiden Akanayaki. Finds Henry Hutchinson. Wide cut out pass here for Aussie. Cutting inwards. Josh Turner sneaks through a couple. That is great footwork from the Aussie veteran. Passes out wide. And it's going to be the try for Jaden Blake. That gets Australia back into the game. And already the fatigue is setting in. We saw one of the Kiwis have his hands on his head. Got to remember the temperature out there on the field is about 40 degrees Celsius. It could be a draw. It could be. And if that was the case, we would go to golden point time. Wouldn't be the first time in this competition either. I don't know, says, what's up, guys? And also Auckland all day, says Nars Williams. This one's going to be kicked high and misses away to the left-hand side, so that is going to keep the score sitting at 5 points to 5. And do they still do a song, or do the song Omo Rapiti in schools? No idea. Well, hopefully someone who is at school will be able to help you out. But, yeah, I don't go to schools too often. I'm ready to kick this one off for the Australians. Nice take from Kitione Vai. Or he had a little bit of a juggle after initially grabbing it, but then managing to swat it back to his teammate in Lasanga. And being back Gordon. He trained him hard, says Nuz. Why would it be a draw on a final? Just be extra time, says, what's up, guys? Oh, I think they were referring to draw for extra time, is what they were saying there. That is going to be a push into touch. Looks like Regan Weir, his arm's still struggling here. He did have the injury earlier on. It looked like it was a stinger on the shoulder. He's tried to play through it, and now it looks like he's actually made it much more serious. What would you want to be at the 10 over mark, Hamish, says Kiwi Rob? I mean, if you're chasing 183, you probably want to be... Your bare minimum's probably you want to have 80, don't you? At that stage, you can normally ramp it up in the second 10. Although having the power play as well, you'd have to say about 90 is probably your rough number. Should be able to speed up as it goes down to the wire here, says Danielle. Are you getting goosebumps, Hamish? Says, what's up, guys? I don't think so. Morning all, Hamish. You're still going strong. Well done, my man, says Richard. Yeah, we've still got plenty more coming up too. The 2 finals, men's and women's, just around the corner. But Regan Weir is really struggling here. Doesn't look like he is having much fun. And the worst thing is they're probably going to just try and roll him off the sideline so that they can keep on playing in this contest. 1 minute 15 remaining of the first half. Still 5-5 between these two teams. I think the players are actually enjoying the stoppage here. He's having a bit of a break from running around. Looks like Weir is back up to his feet. Oh, this isn't good news here for Regan Weir because initially it was a shoulder injury. He's limping off the field now. This looks like it could be some sort of leg. I would say I don't want to speculate, but it looks like either ankle or something lower leg by the looks of it. Could even be knee. As 80 or 90? I think so. If you're chasing 183, you'd want to be, you don't want to be too much lower than that, or else you're really putting pressure on your middle order. But I don't actually know what the Black Caps are on. I know that they were on about 50 after 5 overs, or somewhere around there. I haven't seen any updates since. My rough guide is 100 off 60 balls. With 1 out or 3 out is usually a well-balanced game. So here's Studs race. Yeah, they don't look like the longest boundaries from what I saw too, so that could be beneficial. But Regan Ware taken now off the field. They will be without one of their experienced heads, New Zealand, for the rest of this contest. Meanwhile, Australia are going to have themselves the line out, 23 metres out from New Zealand's line. James McGregor, the man to throw this one in, goes to the front to Aiden Kaniaki. Now back across to the left-hand side, looping around. Nice play here from Australia. Cut out pass from Josh Turner. Goes to Wallace Charlie. He's cutting inwards. Missed tackle from Frank Vainuku. New Zealand's cover defence does get back to cover. Hence the name. We are 81 for 2. Just hit the 8 over mark. Yeah, well, they're ahead of the schedule then. Unless they lose 1 or 2 more wickets. I'd say 100 for 4 with 10 overs go makes you a little bit nervous rather than 100 for 2 after the 10. Now Hutchinson firing it out. Big wide lobby pass. It's a knock on out wide, or at least it looked like one from Wallace Charlie. It looks like the referee's going to say play on though. Hutchinson moves it away to the right-hand side once more for the Australians. Chance on attack. Going out wide to Aiden Kariaki. 2-man tackle on him. 3 metres out from the try line. Australia needed a halfback. They find James McGregor. That pass to Hutchinson. It was a little bit high. He's going to be held up just short of the try line, but there is still 3 seconds left on the clock, which means it will be a scrum feed for the Australians here. A nice Massus, says Nazi. And also Whananuku needs to come to the Warriors, says Nazi Williams. Which one, Timo or Leicester? I think both are going to be returning at the same time, aren't they? That's great work from the youngster Fletcher Morgan there to hold him up. Stop Hutchinson from getting that grounding. But it is again going to be that scrum feed. Just crossed the 100 needed mark. 2 down, 98 from 68. So New Zealand has the advantage this Studs race. Yeah, they should be all right, theoretically. I think that game will end before the final, won't it? More than likely, or it will go right down close to it. I have to keep an eye on it out of the corner of my eye now. Josh Turner with the flat little pop pass for Australia. 5 metres out from the line. Big win for the Kiwis in the breakdown. That was dumb from Kelly Lasanga. He smacked Henry Hutchinson in the back of the head. SoFi Tippo, these young guys have no brain cells for the Kiwis. It's broken out into a brawl. It was started by New Zealand because of Lasanga slapping Hutchinson on the back of the head. So because of that, more than likely, oh no, they're still going here. Kitty on Navai having a go at McGregor. So I believe what's going to happen now, ladies and gentlemen, is the referees are going to look at this. They're going to realise that Lasanga started it. New Zealand go from winning the penalty 5 metres out from their line to giving away one of the dumbest penalties that they could have, which is then going to result in Australia getting another attacking chance. That's what I think anyway. Yeah, Lasanga smacks Hutchinson in the back of the head. Hutchinson retaliates, as you would if you've got him smacked. And then Natoa Tippo runs in, throws Hutchinson to the ground. New Zealand needs to grow the F up, says Jasmine. Yeah, all they've shown there is that they have no champion's mindset. These young guys have no brain cells. Classic quote says Power Bite. Right, penalty against New Zealand. 5 metres out from their own line after just winning a penalty that saved them from conceding before the halftime break. And it's going to restart with the penalty 5 metres out from the line for the Australians. Oh. Okay, Hutchinson's just going, he punched me in the back of the head, sir, but it sounds like both men may actually end up getting sent to the bin. Okay, so both men are going to the bin, but Australia have the penalty. Who the hell was coaching these Kiwi clowns? Okay, they've just said there on the commentary box that they're glad that Sean Maloney isn't in there because he would be ripping into them about how that is a penalty against Hutchinson, or at least a yellow card for Hutchinson there. So I think if you're giving Hutchinson one, you've got to give Safai Tupu one, who did escalate it even more. But 6 on 6 now at the end of this first half. And Australia have got themselves the advantage here as they are attacking 5 metres out from the line. No cards for whacking people on the head. Ellis Kent says power bite now passed on the outside for the Australians. Wallace Charlie cutting inwards. Big collision for him. 5 metres out from the line. We're currently 2.5 minutes past the halftime break. McGregor went for the corner. Referee put the thumbs up. I think his feet are close to the sideline. Okay. I think that James Turner, it was actually Josh Turner, has pretty much told the New Zealanders to pull their head in. Right, that's looking like it's going to be no try here as Australia wrestled in touch. But yeah, Turner was pretty much saying, look, boys, we've just had a fight. Grow up. Like, let's just play some rugby here. After New Zealand push him into touch, there was a few slaps exchanged again. Right, it's going to be no try, and that is going to bring us to halftime in this contest. 5 points to 5. Too much ego. Yeah, for a young side that haven't really proven themselves, they're certainly not backing it up on the field. This is a side that got beaten 35-0 in their last contest, and they're going out there like world champs. They have to be a little bit more, I guess, realistic in the way that they're playing here, or else their egos will get the better of them, and Australia will take them down in the second half. I'll be honest, does anyone really care about the bronze medal? Says Rugby Ready. They seem to, the two sides out there on the field, with the passion that's being shown between these two sides. It's like being the nicest guy in prison. Says Rugby Ready. I mean, to be fair, in the overall standings, though, when you look through it the way that it sits, in fact, I have the graphic. 1 second, we'll go like this. Kapow. Whoever wins this gets 16 points. Whoever loses it gets 14. And with the fact that there are only 6 points separating first and fourth at the moment in the overall standings, I would say that these extra points are absolutely vital for whoever wants to move up in the overall standings and have a chance of winning the title for the year. I still only got the 2 legs left as well, New York and Vancouver. And Humble says Nars Williams. I just saw a Brad Thorn pod with James Graham. He's a bit slow. We can learn a lot from what Thorn said, says Nars Williams. And also Scott Dawson, says Robert. And see, Italy beat Scotland. That was wild. It was. Crazy finish to that game with Scotland having, 30 plus phases in the end. And then Italy managing to hold on. Currently, we're waiting for the second half to get underway. I'm going to be curious to see how the second half starts because both teams are playing with 6 out there on the field at the moment. And Sean Maloney is the worst commentator in rugby, just saying, says Powerbite 92. But yeah, they were saying that if he had been in the commentary box, he would not have been happy with that yellow card to Henry Hutchinson. But Kelly Lasunga, he is now off the field for that little bit longer. Who's going to be the team that get this one going in the second half. And be kicked off by Australia. Nicely taken by Brady Rush, who was thrown in the air. They've already lost. Oh. Okay, here's maybe a bit of logic. Regan Weir off. All of a sudden, the young guys start doing dumb stuff. Maybe they need the veteran players. I know that it's been talked about a lot for New Zealand, how they're picking the old guys in the starting lineup rather than their young talent. But maybe they need them out there to keep the composure of the younger players in the team. Now, 2 men in there for Australia, not on their feet, though. So, penalty awarded to New Zealand. A nice guy's fighting, says Henny. And Hamish in there says Nars Williams. Now, I think these 2 yellow cards are about to come to a close for these 2 teams, seeing as there was quite a bit of extra time throughout that first half. Right, it looks like they aren't quite coming back, though, Lasung and Hutchinson. No excuse, really. They're not children, says Duds Rose. Well, they were acting like it. But, yeah, it just seemed like, it just seemed like every time it was almost de-escalated, someone else came in and threw someone else just to re-escalate it again. These young fellas should know, says Nars Williams. Angry Townsend is a useless coach for Scotland. I was mocked for saying that last summer, but who is laughing now? Says Power Bite. Yeah. It's an interesting one for Scotland at the moment, isn't it? But once again, the coach could have a terrible record, but if people up the chain further who make the big decisions still want him, he's going to get to stay, isn't he? Now the ball's in the hands of New Zealand, round the halfway line. Cutting back inwards, low tackle attempted on Tony Nashu. Finds his offload now to Frank Vainuku in a foot race with Josh Turner. He will win it, Frank Vainuku, and scores the try. He almost does his hamstring in the process. Anytime someone scores in this game, they're on the verge of collapsing. And it looks like, oh no, Whainuku, I mentioned the hamstring. I think he's done his groin here. I saw that grab to the inner thigh. That is normally not a good sign. I think he's just used absolutely everything that he had left. We're going to see a replay now. Yeah, the way that he dove there looks like maybe something on the inner thigh groin region may have gone pop, and he's done for the day. Frank Whainuku, now 2 injuries for New Zealand. Tell you what, it's lucky we've got a month or so before the next leg of the Sevens. Don't know who would show up for these two sides next week. And I'm all like Gregor Godsend for Italy, says Rugby Ready. Can't wait for John Kerwin's take, says Nards Williams. But now the score sitting 10 points to 5. Missed conversions from both sides thus far. 0 from 3. The statistic from the whole game. Oh. Right, that's gone straight through the hands of Aiden Akaniaki, one of the players for New Zealand. Kitiona Vai shouting at the referee saying he's knocked it away. Give us a penalty. Okay, it's going to be the knock-on, which does bring the scrum here for New Zealand. Just goes straight through the hands of Aiden Akaniaki. And to be fair, he did throw that ball away, although they weren't going to be able to take the quick tap. So because of that, it doesn't really slow the game down drastically. 100 up for 3. Who went out? Out of Cypher and Phillips. New Zealand haven't made the podium in Australia since winning in Sydney 2023. Oh, another reset. We have got the Sean Maloney commentary, moaning, orgasms and groaning sound effects. Sounds about what I do on these streams, isn't it? And we have got the don't yell at refs who already hate you. Yeah, it's a risky game to play, isn't it? Phillips went out. Australia chasing their 3rd straight podium at home after finishing runner-ups in 2024-25. Well, it's just last year they were up against the Argentines in the final with the Sevens. It was a pretty one-sided affair, that one. But the good news was the Aussie women's side were able to get the win now. That one's going to be charged down off the kick of New Zealand. Waiting for the bounce of the ball. Does get it favourably there for the lone try scorer, Jaden Blake. Australia now in an attacking position once more. Josh Turner away to the left-hand side. Aiden Akaniaki cuts inwards. Now Turner moves it away to Ben Dowling. He's made his way off of the bench. Almost snuck through, but Kele Lasanga was able to stop him. Jaden Blake plays half. Turner. He's got a lot of experience out there on the field for Sevens. Same with this man now, Henry Hutchinson, getting tackled low. Ball still there. Little bit of a counter ruck there from the Kiwis, but doesn't quite end up with the steal. Advantage offside there going in favour of the Australians. And also, we have good there morning, Hamish from North Germany, says Jason. Must be about, is it 8:18 a.m. in Germany or 10:18? I think it's 8:18, right? You're watching it live. I'm not doing no spoilers, says Robert. But now 2 minutes remaining in this contest. Couple more changes being made. Looks like Aiden Akaniaki, his day will be done. Unless, of course, there's any sort of injury. That means that he has to make his way back out onto the field. He looks exhausted here. Visits to the opposition 22-3 for New Zealand with their 2 tries. Australia have had 3 visits with 1 try. Up the Kiwis. So here's MPT. And 9:18 and bloody cold. So here's Jason there. I'd say it's definitely, you're probably a good 30 degrees, if not more, lower than what it is out there on the field in Perth at the moment. They are playing in 40-degree heat. Australia now looking for that one last try, though, that could help them secure the bronze. Moving off to the right, Henry Hutchinson. Now McLeod, oh, that was close to the turnover for the youngster Morgan. Oh, sorry, Manson, I should say, rather than Morgan. Morgan is still out there somewhere, though, for the Kiwis. Now Scott Gregory trying to make the tackle out wide, cutting inwards for Australia. They're only 10 metres out from the line now, new advantage. Going against New Zealand for the high shot. Australia, just a methodical build towards that 5-metre line now for the home team. Getting relatively decent support from in the stands too. -2 with snow all over. Yeah, no, that is a lot colder. 42 degrees colder, in fact, than what they are. Well, that wasn't that bad from Kitiona Vai. Didn't look like it was too much on the chin and more so on the chest riding up. Amanda Zato used to watch us in the finals all the time with Fiji. I used to, good for Samoa and Fiji sometimes. I used to go for Fiji or Samoa sometimes. Oh. Oh. Kitiona Vaia's got a yellow card for that high shot. Lucky I'm not a referee. I said it didn't actually look that bad. But I think that it's one of those ones how, once again, if you annoy the referee earlier on in the game, he's not going to go easy on you. I love your work, brother. Kiwi boy living at Phillip Island, Victoria, Australia. Says Christopher there. So yeah, it's greatly appreciated you popping in. We have got that women's final coming just around the corner. New Zealand versus Australia. Bit of a trans-Tasman one. Once again, is there a game after this one? There is the women's final, and then there is still the men's final between Fiji and South Africa. That is kicking off in around 43 minutes' time. Charles Manson is playing sevens for Australia. Better get those helter-skelter rugby quotes in now. Says Power Bite. I can't tell if you're serious or not. It's Michael Manson for New Zealand, though. I don't actually know who Charles Manson is. And Ushbet says Naz Williams, but now New Zealand, they will play with 6 for the rest of this contest with 80 seconds remaining. Oh, it's gone down in the front. Josh Turner wanted the penalty. Referee says, no, you don't. Now picked up by Jaden Blake. Tries to step around Lasunga. Scott Gregory driving tackle there. Rob Rush in the breakdown. Didn't quite end up on the ball. Instead on the body. Now across to the right. Oh, that ball looked a bit weird. The way that he passed, that one looked like it had helium in it. But the pass on the inside now. Close to the try line. 2 meters short. Kelly Lasunga making the crucial tackle. Josh Turner passes across to the left. This could be the chance for the Australians. Cutting back inwards. Great defence for now from New Zealand just out from their goal line. And the penalty awarded to Australia for not rolling away. Josh Turner wanted to take the quick tap. But it looks like instead they're going to call for the scrum. And we have got there, I don't know who Charles Manson is. Not at all. It was one of the worst murderers in the world. Right. Never heard of him. Let me guess who was in the women's final. And do you think South Africa? Oh, straight between the posts. Turner takes the tap, scores the try between the sticks, and it's a nice, easy conversion for Australia right at the end of this game. They will win this contest, ladies and gents, and get themselves the bronze medal in the Perth Sevens. I hate this team. It's the same level of hatred I have for the 1998 Canada Blacks. Says Sock there. Do you think South Africa has a chance against Fiji? I absolutely do. I think that's going to be an absolutely incredible fixture between the two sides. But now lining up this kick straight out in front of the post. Gets it over. That is the end of the game. And Australia win this match 12 points to 10 up against the New Zealanders. But the good news for New Zealand is they may have lost this game, but they won the push and shove. And that seemed to be the main thing they were focused on from this contest. So it's a win in their book and a little bit of pushing afterwards as well. James Turner, in fact, sorry, no. Oh, now they're still pointing fingers here, New Zealand. It sounds like they're more keen for a scrap after the game than actually playing throughout the 14 minutes. Big smile on the face of Henry Hutchison, and he's laughing about it as well. He knows that it has well and truly rattled this young New Zealand side, this result that has just happened. That is now twice in Perth that Australia have beaten New Zealand. Now, it's not too often that they beat them once in a tournament, but beating them twice, it's almost unheard of. Well, they should push these nuts. So stupid that I still laughed at it. Damn, they suck, says Scott. I just go into the schools these days. That is where the problem starts, says Powerbite. See, I don't normally go into schools. But each to their own. And All Black moves for the Kiwis, says Rugby ready. Let's go the Black Cats, says Kiwi Rob. And then Good Game Neighbour, says JD. So yeah, that will result in Australia getting 16 points in the overall standings. New Zealand will receive 14. And of course, that final is still just around the corner. The women's final happening very soon too, between Australia and New Zealand. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be popping straight over for that next live stream between New Zealand and Australia right now. Next game.